Wherever you are listening or watching Radio Afinju, the time is 9 a.m.
Ẹ bá mi pè o. Àfíjù. Kí lorúkọ rẹ̀? Àfíjù. Rédíò. Àfíjù. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ àfíjù. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń wo àfíjù. Lórí WhatsApp. Àfíjù. Instagram. Àfíjù. Facebook. Àfíjù. Lórí X. Àfíjù. Lórí YouTube. Àfíjù. Lórí TikTok. Àfíjù. Kí lorúkọ rẹ̀? Àfíjù. Ẹ bá mi pè o. Àfíjù. Rédíò. Àfíjù. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ àfíjù. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń wo àfíjù. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ àfíjù. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń wo àfíjù. Rédíò àfíjù. Rédíò àfíjù. Rédíò àfíjù.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's finally the weekend, the perfect time to reflect on the week gone and prepare for the one ahead. I welcome you all to the show this morning. This is the Dailies on Radio Afinju. You know, we bring to you an impeccable dimension to broadcasting. My name is Boluwatife Ajayi. You know how we do it on the Dailies. This is where we bring to you headlines making some of our national dailies. And this morning, I have the Punch newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, the Daily Trust, the Guardian, and of course, the Nation newspaper. Please note that you can join us live on the show this morning. We would like you to join us on the show. Why don't you go straight to our Facebook page at Radio Afinju? And also, you can listen to us live on our website at www.afinjufm.com. And of course, you should also follow us on all of our socials: X, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. And we will be so glad to have you join us on all of our shows right here this morning. It is still the Dailies. Don't go anywhere. Okay, this morning I will start with the Punch newspaper. Let's take a look at the front page of the Punch newspaper. What is it talking about? The very first story here says 2027 presidency coalition demands Atiku Obi's full membership. APC others push back as coalition directs members to abandon parties for ADC. Another story here says 804 billion naira arms import ignite calls for local production. On the rider, Southeast governors pushing for Nnamdi Kanu's release. This is coming from OT. Another story right here says Niger Delta militancy made Jonathan's presidency possible. And this is coming from Attacker Tom. On the rider, INEC gears up for off-cycle polls, promote 471 officers. On the rider, Oven Fire Forces Delta Lagos Atlanta flight diversion. Another story right here says 6 hospitalized as Lagos seals collapsed 2-story building. Marketers fault Dangote's 500,000 liter fuel delivery threshold. And another leading story here says Ladoja sends Olubadan throne. These are the top stories on the Punch newspaper. Another paper right here is the Nation newspaper. Ibadan stands still for Ladoja's coronation as 44th monarch. Another story right here says Edo secures $250 million investment at Glasgow summit. On the rider, expert, economist, worst times of reforms bends over, manufacturing has stabilized, gains begin to reach average Nigerians. DHQ Defense Headquarters says 147 terrorists arrested, dozens killed, 41 kidnapped victims rescued. On the rider, Barao, Ganduje, others step up plan to displace NNPP in Kano. 3 children found dead in father's car. Tinted glass. IG once against extortion. These are the top stories on the Nation newspaper. Now I have the Daily Trust newspaper. This story is everywhere. Olubadan Tinubu Atiku. Others for Ladoja's coronation today. Another story here says Jonathan meets AEDC chairman David Mark. 3 children found dead in father's car in Borno. I heard defection. Kwakwanso in talks with Dentawe. On the rider, man allegedly kills grandparent in Kano. Insecurity, Katsina to procure 5,000 cartons of ammunition. Japan scraps Africa Hometown Initiative. And the last story here says security operatives rescue 9-month-old others in Kwara. I'll take that again. Security operatives rescue 9-month-old others in Kwara State. These are the top stories on the Daily Trust newspaper. Now on The Guardian, I hope you are still with us this morning on Radio Afinjo. This is the Dailies. In case you are just joining us, the very first story right here says economic recovery, Nigeria not broke, but deep fiscal concerns linger. On the rider, over 6,000 lives lost to religious ethnic conflict, says Plateau governor. 2027 ADC leaders scramble to fix deep rift as opposition coalition nears collapse. On the rider, blackout averted as electricity workers suspend strike. Oh, thank goodness. From politics to palace, Ladoja's odyssey to Olubadan throne. These can be found on page 22 on the Daily Trust newspaper. Another story here says new study links poverty, transport woes to worsening health in Lagos. These are the top stories on the very front page of the Daily Trust. Apologies, on the Guardian newspaper. And lastly, taking you through the headlines this morning, now I move to the Vanguard newspaper. What's on the very front page? Let's find out together. Nigeria attract $19.92 billion investment signals in the second quarter of 2025. Mossop, others reject Tinubu's oil resumption in Ogoni. Tinubu promote 52,000 paramilitary officers in 2 years. This is coming from Interior Minister. Another story here says DMO offers 200 billion naira federal government bonds for subscription. DMO offers 200 billion naira federal government bonds for subscription. And another story here says traders lament as Lagos government demolishes 19 buildings at Trade Fair Plaza. Traders lament as Lagos government demolishes 19 buildings at Trade Fair Plaza. Excitement in Ibadan. This is another story still on the very front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Excitement in Ibadan as Ladoja sent drone today. On the rider, ADC to members, quit other parties now. ADC to members, quit other parties now. On the rider, blackout averted as electricity workers shelve strike after federal government intervention. This story is also on all of the national dailies this morning. And now talking sport, 2026 World Cup qualifiers. More worries for Chile as Onyedika suffers injury. 2026 World Cup qualifiers. More worries for Chile as Onyedika suffers injury. These are the top stories on the Vanguard newspaper. And now let's go through all of these headlines together. And starting this morning, we'll begin with the Punch newspaper. Why don't you grab a seat if you are just joining us, and do not forget that you can react to any of the stories that we will be taking this morning. Just let us know your reaction on the comment section. Okay, now 2027 presidency coalition demands Atiku Obi's full membership. 2027 presidency coalition demands Atiku Obi's full membership. And I read, the leadership of the opposition coalition has demanded that its members resign from their current political parties and join the African Democratic Congress fully, although it gave no specific deadline for the transition. The Punch report. The National Publicity Secretary of the ADC, Bolaji Abdullahi, stated this in Abuja on Thursday following a caucus meeting that included senior party leaders and prominent political figures. The All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party have dismissed a directive by the African Democratic Congress directing prospective members and other parties to decamp to the ADC ahead of the 2027 general elections. A lot of things are unfolding ahead of these 2027 general elections. For more details on the story, please visit the Punch newspaper. Another story here, excitement and jubilation as Ladoja's 32-year journey to Olubadan throne. Ladoja's 32-year journey to Olubadan throne. All roads will converge on the historic Mapo Hall, the venue of the epoch-making coronation of the Oba Rashidi Ladoja as the 44th Olubadan of Ibadan land. For the coronation, Ibadan is preparing for a roll call of Nigeria's creme de la creme. The event is expected to surpass any in Olubadan history, with dignitaries led by President Bola Tinubu, who has confirmed his attendance in honor of his friend. Also expected at former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, governors, ex-governors, former ministers, traditional rulers, captains of industry and other prominent personalities. Governor Seyi Makinde will play host to the distinguished guest at what is already being described as the most glamorous and widely attended Olubadan coronation in history. This story is on the Punch newspaper. Southeast governors pushing for Nnamdi Kanu's release, says OT. Southeast governors pushing for Nnamdi Kanu's release. Abia State Governor Alex Oti has said governors of the Southeast are in discussions with the federal government over the release of the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Speaking during his monthly media interaction with journalists on Thursday, Oti disclosed that the region's governors were making efforts behind the scenes to secure Kanu's freedom. Answering questions on the IPOB leader's fate, he said, and I read, "The information and assurances are not for public consumption. As his governor, I am in the forefront of ensuring that he comes back. The Southeast governors are also involved, so we are discussing." The governor, however, noted that beyond the Kanu matter, his administration remains committed to strengthening security across the state, especially as the year draws to a close. Another story here says Niger Delta militancy made Jonathan's presidency possible. Niger Delta militancy made Jonathan's president possible. This is coming from Ateke Tom. And let's hear the details of the story. The Amayanabo of Okochiri, Okrika local government area of Rivers State, His Royal Majesty Michael Ateke Tom has said his decision to take up arms in the Niger Delta struggle was to draw attention to the plight and marginalization of the oil-rich region. King Ateke, a former militant leader, said the agitation by the militant eventually got the federal government's attention, adding that part of its benefit was the emergence of Goodluck Jonathan from the region as Nigeria's president. Ateke spoke on Thursday when he received members of the ECOWAS Parliament on a courtesy visit to his palace in Okochiri. The delegation, led by the Speaker, Right Honorable Atja Memunatu Ibrahim, was in Port Harcourt for the second extraordinary parliamentary session on harnessing artificial intelligence for parliamentary efficiency, ethical governance and development in the ECOWAS region. Another story right here on the Punch newspaper. Marketers fault Dangote's 500,000 litre fuel delivery threshold. I will take that again. Marketers fault Dangote's 500,000 litre fuel delivery threshold. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery has introduced a minimum purchase requirement of 500,000 litres of petrol for oil marketers wishing to benefit from its free delivery scheme, sparking debate across Nigeria's downstream petroleum sector. The refinery confirmed the new condition this week, stating that only marketers who buy 500,000 litres or more qualify for no-cost transportation of product at the refinery's gantry price of 820 naira per litre. These translate to a minimum outlay of about 410 million naira, equivalent to at least 11 trucks of 45,000 litres each. This story is on the Punch newspaper. And still on the Punch newspaper this morning, 6 hospitalized as Lagos seals collapsed two-story building. 6 hospitalized as Lagos seals collapsed two-story building. The Lagos state government has sealed the two-story building that collapsed on Modupeola Street, Mangoro, in the Alimosho local government area of Lagos State on Wednesday evening. Punch Metro learnt that the incident occurred around 6 p.m., trapping 6 construction workers in the rubble. The incident comes barely 2 weeks after 4 people lost their lives when a 3-story building caved in at number 325 Bornu Street, Ebutemeta area of the state, confirming the development in a statement posted on his Instagram handle on Wednesday. The Lagos State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Bengal Omotosho, said operatives of the Lagos State Emergency Management Authority and other first responders swiftly arrived at the scene. Omotosho wrote, a 2-story building has collapsed at 4 Modupeola Street, Mangoro bus stop, at Limosho, Lagos State. For more details on this story, please visit the Punch newspaper. Another story here says INEC gears up for off-cycle post promotes 771 officers. The Independent National Electoral Commission on Thursday announced the promotion of 471 junior staff members as part of efforts to strengthen its workforce while also reviewing its preparedness for the upcoming off-cycle election in Anambra, the Federal Capital Territory, Ekiti, and Osun State. In a statement signed by the National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumeko, the Commissioner said the promotions were approved at its weekly meeting on Thursday following recommendations by the Appointment, Promotion and Disciplinary Committee and in accordance with the staff conditions of service. For more details on this story, it's on the Punch newspaper. INEC gears up for off-cycle polls, promotes 471 officers. That's the headline. And lastly, on the Punch newspaper this morning, talking sport, under 20 World Cup, Zubair confident of avoiding AFCON lapses. I'll take that again. Zubair confident of avoiding AFCON lapses. Head coach of Nigeria's under-20 national team, Ali Zubair, says the Flying Eagles have corrected the mistakes that cost them at the Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations and are now better prepared for the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Chile. The team concluded a 12-day training camp with 2 warm-up matches, drawing 1-1 with Chile before defeating Australia. Zubair said the outcomes mattered less than the progress made in improving the squad structure. For more details on this story, please visit the Punch newspaper. Now I move to the Nation newspaper. This story here says Defense Headquarters, 147 terrorists arrested, dozens killed. I will take that again. 147 terrorists arrested, dozens killed. Security agents arrested more than 147 suspected terrorists and other criminals in the last 1 week, said the Defense Headquarters yesterday. The Defense Headquarters added that 39 kidnapped victims were rescued within the period. Director of Defense Media Operations Major General Marcus Kange told reporters in Abuja that troops also filed theft of crude worth 19.8 million naira in the South. Major General Kange explained that between September 15 and Monday, troops of Operation Hardin Kai in the northeast arrested 26 suspected terrorist collaborators and rescued 3 kidnapped victims. For more details on this story, it's on the Nation newspaper. The Nation newspaper. Before we go for a break, here comes this story. Barau Ganduje, others step up plan to displace NNPP in Kano. I'll take that again. Barau Ganduje, others step up plan to displace NNPP in Kano. Leaders of the All Progressives Congress APC in Kano State yesterday resolved to mobilize support for the re-election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the leader's former national chairman Umar Ganduje, Deputy Senate President Jibrin Barau, Senator Kabiru Gaya, former Secretary to Government Suleiman Bichi, also vowed to reclaim the governorship from the New Nigeria People's Party (NNPP). The party stalwart who converged on Transcorp Hilton Hotel in Abuja noted that President Bola Tinubu has not disappointed the ruling party, Kano State, and the country. For more details on this story, you can find it on The Nation newspaper. And right about now, we will go for a short break. Please stay with us. Don't go anywhere.
Life no get duplicate.
Na so ẹ̀mí ò láàárọ̀ o.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
Tẹ́ jẹ́jẹ́ o.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o. Make you take am easy.
Na so.
Radio Afinju says if you drink, don't drive. If you drive, don't drink.
Tẹ́ jẹ́jẹ́ o.
Make you take am easy.
Na so.
This awareness is brought to you by Radio Afinju.
For an ultimate entertainment experience. An all-round gist with your spicy honey drops. Don't miss the fun, excitement, and updates on Afinju Arena. Only on Radio Afinju.
Apology for what you say, don't play, or you will learn.
A night of fun and games. Get ready for the most exciting night on air. Join me, your girl, Spicy Honey Drops, as I bring your favorite celebrities closer to you. DJs, comedians, MCs, and more. Afinju Game Night. Are you ready for Odd Games? Come watch your favorite celebs on the Odd Sits every Friday, 8 to 9 p.m. Watch us live on Facebook and YouTube at Radio Afinju. Afinju Game Night, where the games are hot and the questions are hotter.
Nàìjíríà yìí ti gbogbo wa ni kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ bàjẹ́ torí kò sí ibòmíràn tí a lè lọ àjò lè dàbí ilé ẹ jẹ́ ká sowọ́pọ̀ ká fìmọ̀ ṣọ̀kan gbé kémi gbé.
Welcome back from that break. It is still the dailies on Radio Afinju. It's good to know that you are still with us right here on the program. And now I move to the Daily Trust newspaper. And the very first story here says head defection, Kwakwanso in talks with Nentawe. I'll take that again. Ahead defection, Kwakwanso in talks with Nentawe. Strong indications emerged yesterday that former governor of Kano State, Rabiu Kwakwanso, is in talks with the All Progressives Congress APC National Chairman, Professor Nentawe Yildirim, on plans to join the ruling party. Sources within the APC in Kano said Kwakwanso had written to the National Secretariat of the APC in Abuja informing the party of his intention to join the party. But this could not be independently verified by the Daily Trust as of press time. For more details on this story, it's on the Daily Trust newspaper. Security operatives rescue 9-month-old. Others in Kwara. Security operatives rescue 9-month-old. Others in Kwara. A vigilante was shot and 7 kidnapped victims were rescued after a fierce gun battle between security operatives and bandits in a forest near Owa Onire, Ifelodun local government area of Kwara State. The joint operation on Wednesday was led by a security operatives attached to the Office of the National Security Advisor in collaboration with police officers and local vigilantes. The security team stormed the kidnappers' hideout where they encountered armed resistance. This story is on the Daily Trust newspaper. And here is a sad one. 3 children found dead in father's car in Borno. 3 children found dead in father's car in Borno. 3 children were discovered dead in their father's car at the Zanari area of Maiduguri, the Borno state capital. Father of 2 of the victims, Babagana Zana Jaridama, a well-known social media political critic, alleged that the killing was connected to a recent post in which he accused some politicians of sabotaging Governor Babagana Zulum. Speaking to Daily Trust, Zana said the children were kidnapped on Tuesday by an unidentified woman before their bodies were later dumped in his vehicle. This is a sad one. For more details on this story, it's on the Daily Trust newspaper. Still on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, Jonathan visits David Mark after ADC's strategic meeting. As speculations continue to mount over whether former President Goodluck Jonathan will contest the coming presidential election, the former president on Thursday night visited the national chairman of the coalition, African Democratic Congress ADC. The meeting is coming hours after the ADC held its first national caucus meeting in Abuja and adopted the new party as the coalition platform. Some members of the main opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP) have been wooing Jonathan to join the presidential race and contest against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. For more details on this story, it's on the Daily Trust newspaper. And lastly, on the Daily Trust newspaper for today, insecurity Katsina to procure 5,000 cartons of ammunition. Katsina to procure 5,000 cartons of ammunition. The Katsina state government is to procure 5,000 cartons of ammunition to support security operatives in combating banditry and related criminality in the state. A statement by a spokesperson to the state. Governor Ibrahim Muhammad said the purchase plan was approved during the last State Executive Council meeting. Muhammad said the ammunition would also cover the need of state government-established Community Watch Corps (CWC) vigilante groups and hunters who complement the activities of conventional security operatives. This story is on The Guardian newspaper. I move to the Guardian newspaper, economic recovery, Nigeria not broke but deep fiscal concerns linger. I'll take that again. Economic recovery, Nigeria not broke but deep fiscal concerns linger. This is going to be a very, very long read. Just let us know what you think in the comment section. Do you think Nigeria is not broke? This story is on the Guardian newspaper. Let me just take part of the story. This month, Nigeria's external reserves climbed to levels not seen in years. But while reserves provide a useful buffer, they do not, on their own, cure poor governance disguised as fiscal imbalance, a risk that is not technically synonymous with bankruptcy but amounts to a slow erosion of the country's fiscal sovereignty. This is a report. So for more details on it, you can visit the Guardian newspaper. I will take the headline again. Economic recovery, Nigeria not broke, but deep fiscal concerns linger. Over 6,000 lives lost to religious ethnic conflict, says Plateau Governor. Over 6,000 lives lost to religious ethnic conflict, says Plateau Governor. Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang has raised the alarm over the growing wave of religiously motivated violence in the country. He revealed that more than 6,000 people were killed in 2023 alone in conflict largely driven by religious and ethnic divisions, especially in the Middle Belt region, citing data from the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project. Mutfwang said the alarming figure underscored the urgent need for a coordinated national response to prevent religious crises before they escalate into violence. The governor spoke yesterday in Abuja at the National Christian Leaders FOB conference themed Defending Religious Freedom as a Gospel Imperative. For more details on the story, it's on the Guardian newspaper. Still on the Guardian newspaper, blackout averted as electricity workers suspend strike. Blackout averted as electricity workers suspend strike. Electricity workers under the Nigerian Union of Electricity Employees (NUEE) and Senior Staff Association of Electricity and Allied Complaints yesterday suspended their industrial action following the intervention of the Federal Ministry of Power. NUEE had directed its members in the Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN) to withdraw their services indefinitely following unresolved dispute with management over staff welfare and operational challenges. This was as Sahara Group's affirmed 2 power plant in Rivers State ramped up generation to 180 megawatts, boosting supply to Nigeria's national grid and advancing the nation's energy reliability agenda. In a statement signed by its acting General Secretary Dominic Igwebike, NUEE said their strike became necessary after the expiration of its ultimatum to TCN management, which allegedly failed to address issues bordering on workers' welfare and service delivery. For more details on this story, you can find it on the Guardian newspaper. To the Vanguard newspaper. As I begin to wrap it up on the show this morning, here comes the story. Let's take a look at it together. Traders lament as Lagos government demolishes 19 buildings at Trade Fair Plaza. Traders lament as Lagos government demolishes 19 buildings at Trade Fair Plaza. No fewer than 19 buildings were yesterday demolished at the new Mandela Plaza within the popular Trade Fair complex in Lagos as the Lagos state government moved in with heavy security to enforce the exercise. The demolition was carried out under tight security with convoys of trucks from the Lagos State Task Force, Rapid Response Squad, and other tactical teams stationed around the plaza. Stand-looking officers restricted access to the premises and dispersed traders who attempted to record the operation. By the time of filing this report, several targeted buildings inside the plaza had already been reduced to rubble, sparking outrage among shop owners, many of whom claimed they were not given prior notice. For more details on this story, it's on the Vanguard newspaper. Lastly, on the Dailies this morning, on the Vanguard newspaper, Tinubu promote 52,000 paramilitary officers in 2 years, says Interior Minister. The federal government on Thursday announced that President Bola Tinubu has promoted more than 52,000 personnel across 4 paramilitary services within the Ministry of Interior in just 2 years of office, breaking decades of career stagnation that had deprived officers of deserved advancement. Minister of Interior Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo disclosed this at the headquarters of the Nigeria Immigration Service NIS in Abuja during the decoration of newly promoted senior officers across the 4 paramilitary agencies: the Nigeria Immigration Service NIS, Nigeria Correctional Service NCOS, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC, and the Federal Fire Service FFS. This story is on the Vanguard newspaper. Thank you very much for joining us on the show this morning. The Dailies on radio. Afinjo, thank you very much. Abiola Boluwatife, good morning to you too. Thank you for joining me on the show this morning. Thank you, John.